Welcome to the Full Nelson. Today I'm going to be reviewing this set of Knipex pliers. These are called, I believe, Pliers wrench or wrench pliers, whichever you prefer. It's basically like having a set of smooth jaw pliers, but they have this extra mechanical leverage here because of this mechanism. So unlike what a regular set of smooth jaw pliers, the issue you'd have with a normal set of smooth jaw type pliers is if you put them on a fastener and then you went to twist the fastener, the jaws would want to split. And without the extra leverage of this mechanism, you would have a difficult time putting enough pressure on the handles to keep the jaws from splitting. This mechanism keeps that from happening. These things are awesome. I use them all the time. If you do any plumbing work or any work like that, I see people always grabbing channel locks and pipe wrenches and things like that on these smooth fasteners and just chewing the pieces, chewing to pieces those types of fasteners. These are designed to not have that issue, kind of like using a Crescent wrench or anything like that. I know some people will tell you that these give you a better purchase than a Crescent wrench, and that's maybe partially true. Crescent wrenches get a bad rap because people don't understand how to use them properly. You don't set a Crescent wrench and just put it on the fastener. The way that you use a Crescent wrench properly is you actually take it, slip it onto the fastener, and you're tightening it while you wiggle the Crescent wrench, and then it will lock it down, and then you won't round the fastener off. Goofballs don't do that. They put a Crescent wrench on with a really sloppy fit, and then they turn it and it rounds the fastener, and it's because they don't know how to use a Crescent wrench properly, and then they say it's the wrench's fault. But anyway, I do prefer these over a Crescent wrench for most applications just because they're a lot faster when it comes to turning a fastener. Instead of having to put it on a fastener and turn the fastener, you can simply put it and then remove it from the fastener like you would with a Crescent wrench. You can just put it on, crank it down, release it, and keep it on the fastener while you turn. And that's a lot faster than using a Crescent wrench. So these are super convenient. Now I use these in a lot of unconventional ways. I use these on different firearms and things like that to press roll pins and things like that in. They're excellent for that because of how much mechanical leverage you get out of these jaws. You open these jaws up. Let's say you've got a thing in here and you need to push a roll pin in. You line that roll pin up and you just squeeze those things and it'll push that roll pin in no problem. So I use these for all kinds of different tasks, whether it's plumbing things at my job or at home, or whether it's other just hobbies that I use them for around the house all the time. To give you an idea of how much mechanical leverage you get out of these, I've actually taken these out and grabbed onto the nut on the back of the ball on my truck, the hitch, and I can put enough pressure on the handles on these that I can basically pull with pretty much the full force of my body, like lie down on my ground and push with my legs, and I can squeeze tight enough that I can keep the jaws from spreading with me pulling that hard on a fastener like that. So you get some really good leverage, mechanical leverage out of this design. They are not inexpensive. I looked at them just today, and I think for a 12-inch size like this, I want to say they're like $70. I think I paid, $55 or $60 or something when I bought them, but lots of tools and things are getting more expensive nowadays. But in my opinion, they're worth every penny. I have a set I use at work, and I have a set that I use at home. I personally prefer the 12-inch size. I get 12-inch in for most things. With channel locks and the Cobra pliers, these types of pliers, all that kind of stuff, because 12-inch is what I find is about the biggest size I can run one-handed, and yet it will get me up to larger than 10-inch and larger than the smaller stuff. I find a lot of the time a big set of pliers, you can do most of the things you can do with a tiny set of pliers, but you can't take a tiny set of pliers and grab fasteners that they just won't get big enough to handle. Another thing that's neat about these that I haven't learned to use particularly well personally, but it is there, or so I thought. Wow, these don't have it. Okay, well, my ones at work do. I don't know why these don't. I don't know if I've wore it off or what, but usually there's markings in here that will tell you what size you have these the plier jaws set for inside this little triangle. Usually there's a little marking inside there that will tell you that. I don't personally use that, but for people that could get used to using that, you might enjoy that if you know what type of size of fastener you're working on. Usually I just take this thing and I'll put the upper portion of the fastener up against it, and I'll just grab the jaw and slide it up against it just like that to get the size where it needs to be. But anyway, made in Germany, awesome tool. If you don't have any of these, you might want to consider getting some of them. I think you'll be pretty surprised at the different ways you'll use it. Anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments or experience using these, feel free to leave that in the comments section below. Tell other people what you think about them. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.